Have a what?
Travel mug.
Well, no, we have cups. We have cups, unused cups right here. Okay.
That's why I should have poured me some of that blood red.
Yeah, overpopulation aside, though, I am kind of encouraged by the fact that there's another group of demographics that are deciding to take the future of this planet seriously.
Maybe, except I'm worried about
Are
it.
they Democrats or Republicans?
Huh? And I was discussing that there's among conservative Christians, there's a rise in environmentalism.
No, there's a
I'm worried about it though,
cup right
because
there.
if they if they
more
try to cater to
proper,
them,
more
if the
proper
environmental
teacup right there.
if the environmentalists
No,
try to
that
cater
one.
to them
And there's
drop overpopulation on the agenda,
I don't think the I don't think
What
that's
kind
a
of
matter
tea
of
are
the
you in the
environmentalists
mood
catering to
for?
them. I think that's a matter of
Huh?
like looking close and seeing the stewardship
Well,
over the
Tom,
earth thing in the Bible,
Would you
and
like
somebody
something
going,
kind of
"Huh,
different?
we're not
Try this.
acting like that." So
yeah, but they'll try to
I'm sitting
build
here
an
coloring.
alliance, and if they build
And
try to build
try
an
a little
alliance,
of that
the
and tell me what you
overpopulation
think of it.
movement is
you
gonna
know
be
what?
the
It
odd one out.
depends on what you build an alliance on for a specific subject. You know, if
And
some
I recommend a sugar
environmentalists
cube in there.
and some conservative
Or a
Christians
sweetener
form
if
an
you don't like
alliance
sugar.
to shut down that smokestack right there, make them put scrubbers on, I'm fine with that. I mean,
Well,
in fact,
except the money to build the scrubbers though is better spent on contraception. The scrubbers cost money, and the money is better spent on population issues.
well, yeah, but you know what? I'm fine with people. The thing is,
And it's
you're more
conservatives that are saying
likely.
those scrubbers cost money.
Well,
and they're
one
right.
thing I'm going to point out is that you're more likely to get the scrubbers put in because, as much as I personally
Well, how
think
many rubbers can you
overpopulation-
buy for the? How many rubbers can you buy for a scrubber? How many rubbers is a
How
scrubber?
many
rubbers
rubbers per scrubber?
How many rubbers per
A coal
scrubber?
plant scrubber is like $100 million.
And how many
How
rubbers
many
can you get for
rubbers have to work for
$100 million?
that
Yeah.
price?
And
I
well,
can see us walking around with signs now. Don't buy scrubbers, buy rubbers.
Rubbers not
Rubbers,
not scrubbers.
Scrubbers,
Scrubbers are rubbers.
but the thing about
That's a perfect thought. I should put that on a T-shirt.
although there comes a point in which you're not
There's
gonna-
a
Did you get
budget.
some-
There's
did
a
you get
budget
sweetener or
conflict.
not?
You could have us. You could have. You know what the
Did you get
you know what the
something to
logo
stir
could
it
be for
with?
Yeah,
that?
but condoms are a
Somewhere
lot
we have
cheaper.
He's
And,
keeping
know,
up
it's
with that.
possible
You know what
to
the logo
get
could
them
be
out
for
there
that?
anyway.
A
Sorry,
smokestack
these
with a
are all
rubber
good.
over it.
I mean, I think the problem
That's
is
all.
that enough people culturally
You hear that, John?
don't
That's
value
enough,
something
yeah.
like
A
that.
smokestack
Don't
with a
value
rubber
birth
on it.
control. And
That's
this country has
a
huge
jasmine
problem.
tea.
And it's not something that's I think is
That
going to
would
be
be
solved.
good. I
should have
by just
warned you,
spending
jasmine
money.
tea.
I think it's going to be
Crazy,
just
crazy,
something
crazy.
that can be solved by
Jasmine tea?
discussing
I'm
the issue.
not a Earl Grey or a black kind of guy. So.
Yeah,
Population-
I'm afraid of how it's going
So-
to fix itself.
Population
Jasmine,
always
I'm-
fix itself.
It's going to
Oh,
fix
I'm-
itself.
See, I'm
Terrified at
drawing
how
in the little
overpopulation is going to
letters.
fix itself.
Yeah, but it will
This
happen.
is left over from
We're not gonna
cutting
fix
the
it.
wire to make a handle for that one. Ho, ho, ho. Look at this.
Too many people to stop all these
I'm
people
getting
from
close
doing
to the
things
bottom
that they
now.
want to do.
Wouldn't that have been easier to done on a computer?
I didn't do it on the computer, and I don't. I just have this. I just have this green highlighter in my pocket.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is you're not gonna. You have to do each one separately, and you have like 50 of them there.
Oh, I thought you would do the next one.
Oh.
No, I'm just going to do one. I think, and now having done one, I think that'll be enough for
Very
me.
pretty.
I think one shall
Yeah,
be
it is. I
enough.
like the green.
Green
I-
works.
It does, and I just happen to have that in my pocket, so it just worked out. But I don't think I'm going to have to be pretty bored to sit down and do all of these. However, I have a new assistant.
You're going to make Adam do it.
Green Life, did you give him a 2 weeks notice in deciding it was time to go, or did you just
Threw my stuff down and flipped off everybody and told them to go to hell.
Okay.
That's good for a
I
reference.
can see, having worked at Green Life, I can see how you might get to that point. Because I think you started just shortly after I left.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
And at that point, I still knew a lot of the people in the deli. But it's like every time I was coming in and talking with the people I used to work with, it was like a greater sense of grumbling and discontent to the point that everybody that I worked with that I was actually on a conversational basis with at Green Life is going to quit a year later.
Mm-hmm.
What is the cause of the discontent?
Discontent with green life.
Lots of things.
A lot of people don't
I
like
heard
working there.
hippies.
Huh?
I heard hippies,
Hippies?
from around the hall. It's funny he mentioned that because I made the mistake of going to Green
Actually,
Life during the
denied
lunch break
my,
one time,
workers'
and
comp, too.
it's
Denied
interesting to see
worker-
angry hippies
workers'
or lots of
compensation.
aggressive.
To
hippies.
see angry hippies and aggressive hippies.
Isn't that a law? You know, they have to do work.
Yeah.
What was the injury? How did this
It
happen?
wasn't an injury, per
Okay.
se.
Okay.
Like over 20 people in the kitchen in the deli all got ringworm rampantly from the floaters not washing the chef coats.
Ew.
Ew.
And they
Exactly.
denied everybody. They denied everybody workman's comp for that.
Yeah, pretty much. Not a lot
The
to do with it.
floaters?
And-
What floaters?
Floaters, they just go around, sweep up messes, and they do all the laundry and things like that, and just kind of help out random places.
Yeah, the floaters do like all the assorted grunt work and everything like that around there, which you
They
know.
weren't washing the chef coats up in the hallway up to the kitchen.
Huh.
And this one girl up in the kitchen had it for like a month and kept hanging her, didn't tell anybody, kept hanging their chef coats up with everybody else's, and it got into all the chef coats. And
Wow.
they told me, not to come in, and I had to go to the doctor about it.
And 20 people that worked there got this, and they just didn't give them any
Yeah.
workman's comp for it.
Yeah.
How many people quit over that?
I'm the only one I know of.
Okay.
All right, but
But you
There's
know what?
probably
Here
other
we are
things, right?
on live TV with a form to inform the public that
Yeah, I
Green
like
Life
it.
treats their employees as such. So I think you should repeat that and say it louder.
Green Life treats its employees horribly.
here,
It has a pretty high turnover rate.
It does. I
there, you can have a microphone. There we go. And I'll put
worked
this.
there for about 5 months, and
you're on
I
as
was
the
there
Derek.
for 10.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
impressed.
so we have how many people here have worked at Green Life? Just two. So we have two former. Let me see, and I can push this button. There we go. Now, how many people have worked at Green Life? Oh, everybody on camera.
And I worked with some great people.
Yeah,
I
why
really
only two
liked,
on
really
camera?
respected some of my coworkers at Green Life.
Me too. I
there's some
really
great
like the
people
people. I just really am disappointed
They
with
got
the
out of the
management there.
line.
And
You mean the sort of management where like both the grocery manager and assistant manager get all weekends off all the
This might
time?
be the point where you
exactly,
give a
but
disclaimer.
it's more
John.
like the
Might be
MODs
the
and
point.
the
What?
general
You
manager.
give a disclaimer.
Because I went to them
The
about
views
the
and
problem
opinions
at
expressed
first,
by them.
and they were like, "Oh, we'll have to call the home
Oh,
office."
well, go
about
ahead and do
blah,
it
blah,
for
blah.
us.
And didn't
Give,
tell me
give the
who
disclaimer.
I actually had to go to.
The
I
view-
didn't find out till later.
The
I was
views
supposed
and
to go to
opinions
Angela, the
expressed
human
on this
resources
program
lady.
are
They
those
all knew
held
this,
by
but
the
they were
people
trying to get me
expressing
to
them.
not go and have the forms filled out. And
Time to get up.
Well, I've noticed
It's
it's
time
really
for the 420
hard.
roll.
It's
no,
really
oh,
hard
no.
to get a straight
Oh
answer.
no, it's time for the
from there.
420 roll.
yeah, exactly.
Oh no, what can we do? Where's
You want to know a bit of irony?
You don't have it.
Here
Before
it
Green
is.
Life, I worked at Ingalls.
It's time. It's time.
And you know, some people have a very negative view of
That would
being
be
an
the
employee
620 roll,
of an
wouldn't it?
Ingalls employee and all that there. But like all the managers there pretty much treated me pretty decently.
It's time.
At
Yeah,
Ingalls. Yeah.
They don't pay as good.
No, it didn't
time,
pay as
it's
well.
time,
Didn't pay
it's
as well.
time.
But
For the
ironically, it was
420
easier to get a
roll.
straight answer out of somebody
Yeah.
at Ingalls.
Well, they're a little more. They're in corporate, and they've been around longer. They could probably know how to treat people.
So here it
They
is.
probably
This
got better written.
it's
protocol for it.
420.
It
This
probably
is the
helped
420 roll. Do you know that?
in terms of it's the 420 roll. Probably helped
There
that I
it
got
is. There it
treated
is.
comparatively decent at
That's
Ingalls
right.
because most of the people that worked there, I was
The
so
420 roll
obviously
at
smarter
620.
than. And you know, I go to some place like Green Life where I'm just another.
Tell them about how fresh.
Beautiful flower. These fish were still swimming. We take one whole fish and fillet it. So you get the two fillets, the top and the bottom.
All right, and they were still swimming
Yesterday morning, these fish were still swimming.
yesterday morning. They were still swimming.
They got caught up in the clutches of capitalism.
I see, and see what it's done to
See
them.
what their life is.
Sure, I'm actually just someone stopping by to see what's fresh today. But I love the tailgate market.
very messed up time.
If
don't
you
we?
want to let
for
them,
Americans,
if you want
this
to
is
take
very
their
bad.
lead, if you want to listen to them, you just will have to suffer the consequences of obeying them.
Do you want to be on my TV show?
Lord.
You want to be in a porn show?
That's a little too tight. Now do it.
Hey, Asheville.
Okay.
Look good.
You say about the 60s now?
You know, share and share alike, be free. Well, it didn't work out so well. So we needed a new paradigm.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we've returned to the original.
Which is get it while you can.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Well, show us a nice fish. It looks like a nice fish right there.
Here's a spot. Spots are very nice. That's a whole fish.
There's a nice spot.
They fry up really nice.
They fry up.
I've been listening to a lot of Chrome lately, and I've noticed some things in trying to feel I can emulate their style without it sounding at all like them. Like some of the
Ground, white-knuckled, nails cut palms, dig at eyes, peeling flesh, theirs and mine, vibrating at a damaging frequency between lethal explosions, sweat pouring, blood dripping, never dries, a toxic system to spread unseen in blinded masses to rot in pits, viral glass to be collected from rancid corpses, ground then soaked in reducing chemicals, extract the living specimens, incinerate detritus, exterminate superfluous populace. Do we use names in these things?
If you want to, you can say, I am Nate and I hate.
I am Nate and I hate. My name is Nathan Lowe, and I would like to say that I'm against art and poetry.
A lot of employees,
Well,
you know,
like
overbundled
two the
employees
next
working with them.
That's the way I am. And I'm real easy to get that habit. Once I do it 2 or 3 times in a row, I'm set. I don't go to sleep before
Like
and
when I
after
was
I
lead,
have
I'd
to
have me and like 5 other people, and I'd have like 7 or 8 other people.
Well, you know where the abandoned car lot is now in Merriman, and supposedly they're going to put it in the urban village and the like.
Yeah, the one right next to the caffeine.
I have heard, although I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I've heard people say, oh yeah, there's Whole Foods going in there and things like that.
Why don't you start an organization and get a grant?
They might just crush along with.
I would say not necessarily crush, because Green Life, I would say crush, but it would be, the change would be immediate and noticeable. It would be immediate and noticeable.
Notice the human the
what
owners.
they gave you the money for.
John,
And,
the owner, John Swan.
it's a
Yeah.
lot of bookkeeping.
Guy never smiles.
There's gets to where you're spending
I've
more
never
time
seen
doing
like you're
bookkeeping
like
than
making all this
actually
money.
utilizing
You
the
never
grant.
smile.
So I prefer having
Well, you
straight
can start
donations.
If I were making that much
Yeah, I was
money,
gonna
I'd
say
be
you can start
smiling.
a
Hey, how's it going? Hey, all right.
Right.
Hey.
Homeless is a nonprofit.
There's grumpy people.
I heard you had a big
Is this your
10K donation.
We had a 15K
There's,
donation.
there's a specific
put,
personality
five
type that
little
saves
away
money,
for
and
next
it's
year.
kind of a grumpy, kind
Well,
of a
it's
negative
now this
Took us
year.
4 whole
personality
months
type.
to spend
I guess it is.
$10,000. Well, it's not.
Number
next
one
week till
story.
August.
Oh, okay, you were doing August.
Whoops,
August.
filming Green Radio Bistro. I hear season 2 is
we
in
got
swing.
the
It is.
check in July and had to wait
the
for it to
Scrooges
come.
are
I was closing one night and they came over and they're like,
And then,
"You trying to not make any noise?" And I was like, "We're
in a
working."
1-year CD, we maybe should have done
So,
5
Well, Nick told me a story about how
What is this? Susie Q's
So,
in swing?
But yeah,
Is that
it
what
took
you-
us 4 months
What'd you say?
with
Never
all the
mind.
problems that we got and that we were.
no, we're
addressing.
discussing
Green Radio Bistro.
Green Radio
car
Bistro,
repair,
and
impound problems,
at one point
bus
Nick was
tickets
running
and
a
passes. Took us
blender
4 months
because
to
somebody
spend
ordered a
$10,000.
smoothie,
That's really
and
not
the
half
blender
bad.
was going
That's
while they
not-
were
it's
taping.
not half
So
bad
he
at
got
all.
yelled at for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he said, "Okay, fine.
Did
next
was
time,
you able
like
to take
next
any
week,
salary for
somebody
yourself, or
ordered a
just
smoothie
all-
while they were taping." He
just
said, "I'm
it's-
sorry. Like
it's
right now,
against
we're not allowed to like
our
run the blenders or
bylaws
anything
for
like that."
anyone to
And he got
receive
yelled
salary
at for
just
not
for being an
providing a
officer.
customer what they asked for.
I
Exactly.
would, and
It
as
boils
an
down to
officer,
you
I
just
can't pay
get yelled
myself
at,
as
don't you?
staff except
Yes.
Yeah, well, you know
pay
what I
myself
started
for the
doing
website,
after they
but
came down and said
I
that?
have an agreement.
I just started
I think
banging
I
things around
have
more.
a max of $110 a year.
What taping? What are they taping?
So it's
Green Radio
Strong
Bistro.
point.
It's
Well,
just another show on
therefore,
your
don't do
TV.
much work, but
Yeah, no, it's
but
like
still,
breaking down the
it
salad
keeps-
bar
Mhm.
and
keeps
pulling
me
out the
conscious.
metal
So do you
things
have
and kept
staff?
dropping
You
them
actually
on
have
No,
purpose.
we do not have staff.
So anybody that gives a donation to that
Well,
would actually
They
be,
were just kind of rude about it. If they
It-
were
you would
nicer
you
about
would
it.
be using that for
We have
your
cream
We're
too.
probably getting between 90 and 95% of all donations
Well,
going right out into.
I can see
Wow.
in terms of
That's incredible.
immediately getting a
That's-
studio
that's
audience.
incredible.
I can see the
You're
appeal
doing much better
of
than
doing
any
it
other.
Our
there.
expenses are
But
the
you
website,
are kind of
$60
dealing
a
with,
year,
like,
website
two
writing, $100
different
a year.
crews working in one
paper,
space that
ink.
have opposing interests.
Every
in
now
what
and
they're
again,
trying
we
to get
chip in on a
done.
computer to keep the
Yeah.
computer running.
I mean, you
I
have
mean,
to do your
That's our
the people
P-
working
PO
there
box.
has to do their job,
How are the two
Who do you
conversations
host with?
coming out?
and you've also got
Who do you
another
host
variable.
with?
You've got customers that have
MrCreaming.net.
neither interest in
$60 a
one.
year.
They have
things,
different prices
making
for
sounds,
depending on when you
noises.
sign up. He's really weird about that. If
They had. I
if
think
he
the
runs a
customers should have
special
more,
to get
right
new
to be there than
customers in,
bistro
the new
because
customers get a better deal than his current customers, and I have a
customers are
problem with that, but he
paying for
doesn't.
Green
So,
Light to be there, making the
but
money.
yeah, our,
Well, that happens
our
sometimes.
contract is.
That's it. I hear
$60
Green
a
Radio
year.
Bistro is Green Radio Bistro is syndicated
I'd
this
be willing
season.
to host it for you guys for free if you wanted to.
Where?
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
we're with Mystic Dreaming for a number of reasons.
I don't know, I'm no
including the
longer
fact that he hosts
affiliated.
A couple of other websites.
Well,
for me for free.
I understand the basis of your feelings, and I think
he's
they're
a very
justified.
close friend.
Well, I'm
In
not-
fact, when
I'm not. I'm
back
just saying
when
I'm no
Yahoo
longer.
bought
I'm no longer
GeoCities in,
affiliated.
what
I
was it,
don't. And so I do
97?
not have
Somewhere
the
around there.
information.
Yes.
I
No
had
one
a
has provided
GeoCities
me
website, and I
anything.
said, hell no,
I
because
think
Yahoo
they're-
changed the
people
terms of
that run
service
that, aren't they good
to
friends with
where
one of the owners?
they owned all
I
content
believe
on your
you.
website. They didn't really tell anybody, but of course the people that were doing websites tried to keep track of those
Yeah,
things.
I don't think I'm ever gonna go
And
in that
Robbie
place
gave
ever
me
again.
free web space from that point.
Because I still shop there
I've
sometimes.
had
I
at
went and
least
saw
one
the
website
Olive
with
Bar
Robbie
at
since
New Ingles.
'97.
They've got a new
Okay, well, I
olive
mean,
bar.
that makes
I-
sense.
You know where
I
the original
appreciate
Ingles
the
was, right
offer.
on the other side of the tunnel, on Tunnel Road?
Yeah.
They got a new one there now?
I've seen the new one.
Yeah, they've got
But
like a 20
We've
foot
had
long,
the website now for 5
big.
years.
Yeah, they-
and-
That's a lot of space
John,
just for
John
olives.
and I were there yesterday, and there's a lot of olives.
I
I
think
was
we've
like,
had
I
one
didn't,
day
I
of
didn't
downtime in
know
5
olives
years.
were that big. I mean, I like
Okay, well, we'll see. You know, if they keep the 20 feet of olives, or they shrink it
Okay.
down to 10 feet and stick something else in there.
I just thought
Oh,
off
the
it.
olives. Yeah, we saw the olives last night.
A lot of olives.
A lot of olives.
Mm-hmm.
They made that one pretty nice.
Right now,
They
I've
did a-
I've got.
We
I
enjoyed
think
the olives. I did.
8
I enjoyed the
Nights and Six in on Mystic Dreaming.
That said, the old Ingalls that hadn't been remodeled from the 70s had a peculiar charm, as far as I was concerned, simply because it was so completely outmoded by the standards of modern supermarkets.
Right.
I mean, to the point that you could tell, like, a lot of the hardware was still left over from the 70s.
Oh, yes.
So
some of the new stuff.
Hmm?
The new stuff.
I'm talking about, like, the old Ingalls. That was,
Yeah. Right, the new stuff left over from the 70s in there.
Yeah. So to me, you know, that had a peculiar charm. But then again, I find 70s style in general to have a peculiar charm.
Yeah, I like it. In fact, I like the Civic Center architecture. That It's like going to be the next Art Deco, I think, is modern architecture. It's going to be, you know, everything is just old before it's antique.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the stage when they crush things and throw them away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's the things that survive that period when it's not antique yet, but just old. It's the things that make it through that become antique.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's things I hate to say it because I don't like the government involvement, but the Civic Center is a good example of modern architecture that's pretty soon it's going to be all the rage.
We shall see.
You don't like the Civic Center?
I don't think that the government. It's sort of the idea of socialism. The concept of socialism is that the government runs things for the purpose for a specific purpose, for the purpose of reducing the gap between rich and poor.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Well, the Civic Center is here where the government's running something, and it's for another purpose. The purpose is not to reduce the gap between rich and poor. It's like to entertain people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing in socialism that says the government should get involved in running things for a purpose other than reducing the gap between rich and poor. Well, they've added environment.
Well,
The
maybe
government
that's,
should run things
maybe
for
that's
environmental
to provide
purposes.
entertainment.
But those are the two purposes. Those are the two legitimate purposes for which socialism was designed. And here we have governments running things for some other reason that's not on the socialist agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that. I don't like that any better than the right wing likes that.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a socialist, so.
That if the government's going to run something, it should be
I'm a capitalist.
for a specific
I'm
purpose.
an anarchist.
I'm a capitalist. The more money I can make, the better off I am.
So no, I don't think the government
Got a point there.
I don't think the government should be in the entertainment business.
It's a joke, by the way. But they already are.
Oftentimes, well,
they
yeah,
should
not
get
only
out.
that, but
if
I
I
have
were
to
a
say,
capitalist, I'd
of
be
all
in
things
Raleigh.
considered, if you leave entertainment up to the government, you're not going to get the sort of quality entertainment
DC
you
or
want.
somewhere,
Yeah.
The entertainment that the government
no capital
produces
there.
is usually completely unintentional.
Like our president.
Yes.
Very,
Well,
very funny man.
The Civic Center,
So what should we do with the Civic Center? Explode it? Blow it up?
auction it off.
Sell it to who?
Highest bidder. Auction.
Okay.
No, the
You have
BB&T
no idea.
building needs to be exploded.
If it's the highest bidder,
That's
you have
the
no idea
ugliest
what
building
building
in town.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you say that because it's just square, or do you say that because it's too high?
I say that because it's ugly.
It is ugly, but I'm.
Well,
I'm
actually,
I feel
what I'm trying to
it's-
figure out is
The height and the squareness are two aspects of its ugliness, but the 60s bad glass architecture is
very
what
bad.
makes
It's too
it
square.
ugly.
It's too much like just a big feature.
Well,
big-
well,
the
that's
bigness
modern
makes it
architecture too.
real
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
what
I
I
don't
would
know
like
what
to see in
building.
Asheville is about 400 high-rise buildings. I'd like to see that around
Well,
there.
it'd be nice if they were nice.
If there were nice
Okay,
high-rise
now-
buildings.
now tell us,
I don't want
Randy.
5 BB&Ts.
Tell us,
No.
Randini, why it is that you would like to see these high-rise buildings around.
Because it would bring jobs and into Asheville area.
Yeah.
Where we're losing manufacturing jobs, and our younger generations are having to move away, and which is turning this into a retiring tourist town.
So
it would
it would bring a lot of Mexicans in town to do these jobs, right?
Well, the other thing would be John, that it would be providing more housing than the rich people can come in and buy. So
That's
it
right.
would actually lower the housing costs in downtown.
That's right. If the rich people, if the rich people of the middle class could buy new houses, they wouldn't be moving into the Windsor Hotel and displacing.
Well, let me put
poor
it this
people.
way: it would
I
provide,
think they
it would
would
provide
in this
higher
town
paying jobs.
anyway.
Let me put it that way, because you cannot live in
But if you
Asheville
provide more housing than the
on
rich
less
can buy,
than
Yeah, but you know
$40,000
what?
a year. You just can't do it.
What, I'm
It
wondering
cannot
what the
be
critical
done.
mass
I know,
of
I've been
providing
there.
the more housing the rich
I've been
can
there
buy.
where I've
Admittedly,
made
I'm just being
$12,000 a year,
cynical
$15,000
After
a
World
year.
War
because
II.
of
Me and
the.
my wife working together
I'm
make
just being kind of
$20,000.
cynical, and I've already
Can't
kind of
happen.
resigned myself
It
to the
cannot
fact
happen.
that
And this was
they're
back
just
in the
going to come in
90s.
and change.
This
the
was back in
price.
the early 90s.
See, that's something that's unusual about you, though, being a capitalist and stuff like that. But that you
That's mine.
you know that, you recognize that
Right.
because you have been there.
I've been
You
there.
see what I mean?
I've had food stamps, and I've had WIC for my children,
I'll be
and
home in a few minutes.
help like that and stuff like that. I've lived in mobile homes.
Now, do you want to do away with food stamps?
No.
Or do you want to do away with WIC?
No. I'm saying I've had that stuff.
And
I know what it's like, and I know it's a great help. I would like to do it away with the rules and regulations they have, because for the simple fact is that when we went to apply back in '92 for food stamps, they told us because we had 2 cars and they were both 1970 models that we could not get food stamps. So we had to get rid of a car. And how do you get rid of a car when both of us are working and doing our best?
Yeah, well, that's just like that's just like what I was somebody who was once I think on the show, and they said I know homeless people who own cars. I know a homeless person who has a car. You know, and well, duh.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, they probably got somewhere to sleep tonight, don't they?
See ya. They might even have a pair of shoes too.
I hope.
See you later.
But no, I don't want to do away with that stuff. I'd like to see the rules.
I'm just going to go pick up Doris. And
I'd like to see the rules and regulations changed.
Sweep off the steps.
So basically, those people are saying that if you're homeless, you have to make sure that you remain homeless.
Exactly, and you better be darn well poor.
Yeah, you have to be homeless, carless, clothless,
right?
You know, everything. You know, just naked, living under a bridge. You know,
naked people running down the street, huddling under bridges. That's
then they'll stick them in the insane asylum and give them like paper clothing.
They've closed a whole lot of insane asylums. There's not enough insane asylums for.
That's some of the problem with our government, though, is most, if not all, of the people in government. There's a few that probably aren't, but I'd say 95%.
There's not enough insane asylums to hold them.
Right.
Is it?
Well, there's 95% of our government are people that were born already wealthy. And they have no idea what it's like to have
they're all lawyers. They all went
they
all went to law school.
They all went to law school. They all played polo.
And they all belong to the same fraternity.
Yeah.
And they all don't have a
they all
clue.
live in gated communities.
Well, it's like John Edwards is running for president on the ticket of I want to be the nation's ambulance chaser.
I know it. You know. I don't know. The day is over that I would be, trying to be excited about John Edwards running for president. You know, those days are gone.
I'd like to see a North Carolinian be president, but not John Edwards.
Who? Okay, of all that's going on, what?
John for president.
Who would you like? No, from all that's going on, who, if any? Body that's making the news or running in any degree would you like to see?
I like Mike Huckabee.
Okay.
Just because of where he's from, how he was raised, how he's lived in his past. I feel like he would be one of the closest people that is running for president that would know where the poor people are coming from. That's the general feeling I get by looking at his past.
I came
raised in a mobile home, things of that nature.
I came up with a new ticket. I have made up my own ticket. This is the ticket that I want to see. Okay, and it is the Ron Paul Ralph Nader ticket.
What a combination!
And I don't care which is vice and which is president, which is vice president. But just the Ron Paul Ralph Nader combination, I thought that they would equal one another. I wish they could both run as if you would co-presidents or something.
I think we're barking up the wrong tree.
In the 2000 election, there was a bumper sticker going around that says "Seuss Zappa 2000, the Ascended Masters Party."
It's not about the presidency because it's municipal. And this is something I keep having to force on activists again and again. All of the candidates, all of the viable candidates, I think all of the candidates have held a smaller office. There's 2 or 3 former mayors.
You gotta nip it in the bud, right?
There's 2 or 3 former mayors
in the hometown.
Nobody 2 terms, one in Congress, one in jail.
There's mayors, there's congressmen.
That's the most dangerous thing you can do is go up against your local city hall.
Every candidate has won a smaller office.
Congress, 8 years at war,
and if you don't have any good candidates, it's because you haven't focused on getting them into those smaller offices from which they can run.
Years of them in Congress.
Okay, 2 years in Congress, 4 years in war, 8 years in prison.
You can't.
If you don't like that, we can throw it out and try another one.
No, it's good. I like the Ron Paul.
We can't fight the White House until after we have
Paul
City Hall.
Nader.
That's good. I voted for Nader last time. And I would look at Paul, but I tend to agree that as much as the president's important, it starts way smaller than that.
Yeah, but from the all the candidates of everybody I can think of, I can't think of anybody that I truly believe speaks more from their heart than Nader and Ron Paul.
I agree with Randy that Mr. Huckabee does speak from his heart and follows his own precepts. What I don't like about him is that he speaks from his heart and follows his own precepts, because he doesn't show a tolerance for people that don't follow his precepts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that can be divisive because there are so many people that aren't Baptist Christians.
Right. I don't know if he'd bring that into. Of course, you always have to wonder. I mean, obviously.
But some people don't wonder as much. Some people wonder more than, say, yourself, who I'm thinking is Baptist.
I was.
You're not Baptist?
I was raised Baptist, but I don't consider myself a Baptist. I just preach the Bible. That's basically.
You go to church somewhere?
I do go to church.
And what church would that be?
It's just a missionary church. It's no denomination.
No denomination.
No denomination.
Okay.
That's it's because denomination is man-made.
Mm-hmm.
If you look back,
you could play that song again. Did you hear the song? He has a really, really wonderful song, and he could play it again, and you would really like it.
About denomination or something?
No, it's beyond denomination.
Okay. Denomination is just man-made. I mean.
The song says man wrote the Bible, which I'm
plain and simple. Jesus said that. Not Jesus, but God said in John 3:16 that He loved the world, that He sends only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in Him should not perish but have everlasting life. And He doesn't say anything about denomination. He doesn't say anything about looks. He doesn't say anything about the way you talk or anything like that. And so. That's just the way it boils down.
Have you met the Mad Muckle Monford?
Yes, Christopher.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all could team up on a show.
No,
you don't
team up with him.
No, all right, okay. I'm just.
but yeah, I mean that's just plain and simple. And a lot of preachers, a lot of times I get invited to preach at a church, and then they don't ever invite me back because that's the way I preach. I just preach the Bible. I preach a Billy Graham style, if you will, because all he's ever done is just preach the Bible. Just that's it. I mean, denominations man-made, all this other stuff, about not having. It's silly. It's ridiculous that you hear all these things, that everything from having long hair to drinking alcohol to cussing and all that stuff. I don't choose to drink. I don't choose to have long hair, and I don't choose to cuss. But that's me. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that somebody else does it can't believe in Jesus and get in heaven.
If these people would concentrate more on making themselves better people instead of declaiming everyone that isn't as good as they are.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not up to us to judge anyone. The ultimate judge is God, and the plain and simple fact is that when I die and go to heaven, there's going to be people there that I didn't think they would be there, and there's going to be people not there that I thought would be there, and it may just be a miracle that I'm even there. I don't know. So, who knows? That's just the way it is. Now you see where my views come from. But yeah, I didn't pick Mike Huckabee because he's a Republican or because he's a Baptist preacher or anything like that. I just feel like he's the closest candidate than any other one that's been poor. Mm-hmm. That's basically, and I feel like he speaks from the heart, And at this point in the game, I really like what he has to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because I choose the man, or if it comes to it one day, the woman that I think's best. I don't go for party.
Well, here's another one.
I'm a registered Republican, but I don't go for party.
All right. Has anybody heard this? I want to say it was Vermont. I could have the wrong state. And this, apparently this story was important enough to get a small article somewhere near the back of the Citizen Times. I believe the state is Vermont has passed a law that says if George Bush or Dick Cheney
it was Vermont.
It is Vermont. Enters the state, they will be arrested and tried for war crimes.
War crimes, exactly.
Sweet.
Yeah. Whoa.
Right.
for them.
Now,
And
now,
since
now,
that, there's 3 other states that are thinking about doing the same thing.
now, is there anybody besides
I think
me
it's Maine,
that thinks
Maryland,
that should be more than a story in the back? Is anybody besides me thinks that should have been a front page story?
Yeah, it very much should have been.
Yeah, I think it should have been, and I think it's Maine, Maryland, and New Hampshire. I believe.
Well, you know, Maryland's right
that
there.
are thinking
Right
about
next
it.
to DC, yeah.
So it's the Air Force base they use.
Yeah, that said they would.
Andrews, yeah.
Yep.
You know, that'd be bad if every state in the union except for Texas decided to do that. They'd have to just go live in Texas and.
I think it'd be better if Texas did it too.
Well,
Then they'd have to stay.
Iraqi people would take them, wouldn't they?
Then they'd have to stay in the what is it, D.C. District of Columbia, wouldn't they?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Which
cool,
is only
'cause
what,
it's-
like 3 square miles or something.
It's not
It's
very
not
big.
Yeah. And there's no major airport.
Uh-huh.
You got to go to Dulles or BWI, which is in Baltimore.
But they got running water, and
Can you actually? And I know this is going to sound stupid because I should know this, but can you actually have a house in DC? I mean, DC
Yeah.
is so small
Yeah.
that they don't have. Does it have
Oh, yeah,
residential?
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Oh,
there's
it does,
apartments
okay.
and stuff.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, plenty
so
of
there is a
houses.
residential area in DC. I didn't know if
Mostly
it was.
mostly
I knew it was
townhouses,
small.
yeah.
It's only like
Yeah,
it's only like really 10 square miles or something. But I
there's
didn't
plenty
know
of
if it
houses,
included any
plenty of
residential areas.
apartments. But
Okay.
But most of those fat cats live in Northern Virginia.
that's right.
Yeah.
Most people, right. The people who live in town are the servant class.
Well, I mean, they could walk right outside the state.
No,
whatever
no,
you
the
consider
district.
that district
Well,
of
it's
Columbia.
kind of a long walk. I think it's as big as Asheville, DC is.
I don't know if it's that big. It
You'd
may
be surprised.
but
It's pretty
Is
big.
it pretty big? I don't know.
It would be a hike. I mean, yeah, you could walk out of DC from the center of it, but it would take at least an hour.
I say I've never been to DC, so that's why I say that's why I ask.
But that's interesting because that's getting back to the idea of the states having power and the legislative branch having more say in the checks and balances.
Yeah.
Because if we as people don't hold our elected
It's a
officials
novel notion.
Well, yeah, democracy, novel notion.
Go
right?
ahead.
If we don't hold our elected officials accountable, which is exactly what Vermont's doing, they're saying, all right, the rest of the nation obviously is asleep or don't care, but we do care, and that's awesome. To not say, we don't want you around, but we don't want you around, and we're going to put you in jail.
So, and I don't want it to stop there. See, just like you hang out with some people who have been concerned about Bobby Medford and saying, "Oh, well, no, this whole thing with Bobby Medford goes way up to something bigger." Well, they're trying to point higher up instead of saying take care of something down low. They're trying to cause attention higher up for whatever reason.
Magicians call it misdirection.
Okay. All right. Now there's a fellow who's
But I think the federal